you are here and I'm the next one, right? And I graduated in 1987, and this is my thesis, and this is my university, and this is my advisor, his university, and his work. And by the way, you can see why I was interested in information theoretic interpretation of control, because that is what he has done. And his advisor was one Laurent Primaire, who did work on estimation discrete systems and time delays, and he's still there. And his advisor was from Purdue, and he was a mathematician. So we kind of moved towards mathematicians here, and he worked on finding quadratic factors of polynomials. And then in 1934, we have a really famous person, a person who became famous, that is Rufus Oldenburger, from the University of Chicago. And he was a mathematician with applications in control. And very difficult to find his biography, because instead of finding his biography, you find the biography of the 50 people who received the awards in his name. And his advisor was Raymond Walter Barnard, about which we don't know much, but we know a lot about his advisor, who was, by the way, we're already in 1885, Eliakim Hastings Moore. And both of them were from Yale, and they wrote books that continue to be published today, which is telling you that something is useful in them. These are classics in analysis. So we continue with our forefathers, right? There are no mothers, unfortunately, in this case. Hubert Anson Newton never received more than a Bachelor of Arts, but that was not uncommon in the time. And he was an astronomer who served at Yale. And now it becomes a little bit mundane, you may think, but not really. We go past the Atlantic to France. And what we find is Michel Chazin, who is very famous because he has done some work about the works of the Greeks, and there was always a question of how much of the work of the Greeks that he is quoting is the work of the Greeks or his work that he is putting as in the back door as work of the Greeks. Now, look at that. Okay? Now we are talking, right? So all of a sudden we find in our lineage Poisson, of Poisson distribution, and from now it only gets better. Because Poisson's teacher, but Poisson didn't have a degree. Poisson had a degree, but his mentor, Lagrange, did not even have a degree. He was a high school student, technically, right? But think about it, it's Lagrange, right? Lagrange and Lagrange multipliers and a lot of other stuff. And his advisor was Euler, okay? And his advisor was Johann Bernoulli. And his advisor was Leibniz, which is answering the question who invented calculus. Newton had nothing to do with it, guys. You know? And by the way, there is one more. By the way, the thesis, as you can see, become in Latin. And the last I could find is the mentor of him. So I wanted to tell you again that I always believe that the journey is more important than the destination. And those of you who have been in our last reunion may have heard it before, but it was expressed very nicely by Constantine Carafi. Carafi was a Greek poet who lived in Alexandria. He was actually he worked in the bank during the day and wrote poetry in his spare time. And he is recognized now much more than he was recognized in his lifetime as a major poet, a major European poet. In 1911, he wrote Ithaca. And it goes like this: as you set out for Ithaca, hope the voyage is a long one, full of adventure, full of discovery. Lystrigonians and Cyclops, angry Poseidon, don't be afraid of them. You will never find things like that on your way, as long as you keep your thoughts raised high, as long as a rare excitement stirs your spirit and your body. Lystrigonians and Cyclops, wild Poseidon, you won't encounter them unless you bring them along inside your soul, unless your soul sets them up in front of you. Hope the voyage is a long one. May there be many a summer morning when, with what pleasure, what joy, you come into harbors seen for the first time. May you stop at Phoenician trading station to buy fine things. mother of pearl and coral, amber and ebony, sensual perfume of every kind, as many sensual perfumes as you can. And may you visit many Egyptian cities to gather stores of knowledge from the scholars. Keep Ithaca always in your mind. Arriving there is what you are destined for, but do not hurry the journey at all. Better if it lasts for years, as you are old by the time you reach the island, wealthy with all you have gained on the way, not expecting Ithaca to make you rich. Ithaca gave you marvelous journey. Without her, you would not have set out. She has nothing left to give you now. And if you find her poor, Ithaca won't have fooled you. Wise as you will have become, so full of experience, you will have understood by then what these Ithacas mean. And I believe that's it.